Ahoy. Hopefully you're doing well. Thank you so much for coming on out. Appreciate you joining me here. That's an interesting problem. Anyway, just finding problems in my automation, but what else is new? Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm John. Thanks for stopping by. Just going to check my audio here on my computer. Yes, I could hear myself, which is good news. I also realized that I don't have my my cool little EQ running on the corner of my screen. There we go. There, now it's something to look at. It's kind of fun. Hopefully you're doing well. Today is an exciting day because we are rounding the edge on NAB 2026, which means that there's going to be lots of cool stuff to be checking out when we are at the show, and I'm really excited to see what people are bringing to the NAB show this year. So I'll jump into that shortly. Let's jump over to, where did I put the socials chat? It's here somewhere. Everything got condensed because I got way too many windows open. So NetHab is hanging around with us. Greetings and salutations. Always a pleasure, my friend, to have you here. Thanks for stopping on by. And let me just catch everybody up to speed as to where I'm at in the world here. So been doing some work with Keystone this week, which is the company that I own, Keystone AV Networks, helping out several installations with their AV networks and trying to get them working a little bit more efficiently. So that has been a lot of fun having that kind of ongoing. I also have been working on the office build and getting to a place where we should be getting ready to, hopefully move in a couple of months. I've been tossing around the idea of, do I quote out the what will be probably the most expensive part, which is drywall, tape, and mud. Do I quote that out, or do I just attempt to do it myself? I guess I could get a quote and then try and, if it's way too much, then try and do it myself. Problem there is I'd rather a professional do it than me, just so it has a nice finish to it. And you can also purchase different levels of finishing. Apparently there's levels 1 through 5. Level 1 is just basic mud and covered and probably not even sanded. Level 3 is like standard home, and level 5 is a premium product that is ultra smooth and the whole wall is mudded and everything like that. So I've been looking at options for that, mostly because if I do it myself, I can ensure how it's done and the whole airtightness thing. If I have somebody else do it, I think I'm going to have to supply the acoustical caulk for them to do around all the boards and all of the edges and everything. As I understand it, when you do the final layer, however many you're going to do, when you do the final layer, you need to put acoustical sealant in between the boards and around the edges and around windows and outlets and any penetration through the wall, all of that stuff. You need to do that so that it is all airtight and sealed up. Well, the issue with having somebody else do it is you may not necessarily, you don't know if they've done it before they tape it, and so there's a bit of I kind of want to do it right the first time. I don't want any air gaps or anything like that, which means that I may just need to do it myself. And doing that amount of drywall is going to be a challenge because, first of all, I haven't done a ton of drywall in my past, and it's a lot of drywall. It's the heaviest it's one of the heavier drywalls that they make. It's 5/8, and I'm doing 2 sheets in the entire office and 3 layers inside the recording studio. Now, the recording studio isn't as big as the office is, which is nice, but it's still a lot of drywall. It's still going to end up being a couple $1,000s just in materials. So there you go. Personally, I feel fine screwing the drywall into the wall, but would never tape and mud and finish it myself. So I've been doing a little bit of research, as you can imagine, trying to figure out what is the next, what do I do about that, right? Because I'm going to just close this page. I got a lot of browsers open here, so I don't even know why I'm remoted in over here to the, there we go. Okay, we're going to close down some of this. As long as you overlap your multiple layers of drywall, you only need to seal around the wall-to-wall to ceiling joist. Yes, so proper drywall is you're going to layer it, but you're also going to at the very least stagger your joints. And doing 2 layers, that's really important that you get that right. Doing 3 layers, it's not as important because you've got multiple layers to kind of overlap. So you can do vertical and then horizontal and then vertical again, or you can do vertical, horizontal, however you want. So there are lots of ways of accomplishing this goal. I just don't want to do a lot of cutting because, again, gaps, right? So it might save me 3 weeks worth of work. But if I get the boards here and I figure out an efficient way to carry them, because I'm going to have to carry them into the space, carry one in at a time and zip it up, and then next one, zip it up. If I get really good with it, quite frankly, the first layer doesn't have to be perfect. The other thing I'm a little hesitant about is cutting the holes for the electrical boxes and things like that. I got to get a system down where I'm consistent and those holes are nice and tight. So I've seen it done a whole bunch. I have never done it personally myself. So that'll be another challenge. But again, it gives you the luxury of ensuring that the final layer is done correctly and not poorly. And it also means that I could practice in the office space, right? Because I could try and get that done. You got to do the ceiling first anyways, for the most part. But you can I don't know if you do, would you do like the ceiling and then a layer and then the ceiling and then a layer and then a ceiling and then a layer if you're doing 3, so that you kind of have it staggered in? Or do you do all 3 layers of the ceiling and then you do all 3 layers of the walls? I guess it doesn't really matter. It's one way or the other. It would be easier to do the ceiling first to get that out of the way and done, and then come back and do the walls, because then you'd have a nice tight fit where the drywall goes all the way across the ceiling. Yeah, and then the drywall in the walls is a whole lot less. And then, like you're saying, NetHab, sealing up that perimeter and the ceiling joist and along the ground as well, by the way. Anywhere, that final layer, if we're talking about sound isolation, that final layer, you need to basically seal all cracks before you mud. And there's a product on the market now that you add to a tub of mud. I have it here somewhere. Here it is. You would add this to a tub of mud. I watched an installer from Ontario. He's actually quite good. Throw this up onto his wall, and it cut down his time substantially, and it created a very professional. Where are we here? Here we go. It created a very professional look. It's called Mud Skip. So basically, it's offering up to a level 5 in one step. So I don't necessarily need a level 5. I'd be fine with 4 or 3. But yeah, if this would minimize sanding, it helps it smooth it out a lot better. If you want a level 5, you do the whole wall with mud, which is a lot more mud than just, the creases and the divots where the screws go in. So, but yeah, if you wanted to do the whole thing, if you wanted that perfect finish at the end, you could do this. Now, quite honestly, I'm not going to be looking at it that closely, and it's not a showroom. This is a working office, and it's going to be it's not even a working office. It's going to be like a network, customization type of office. It's going to be a recording space. So it doesn't necessarily need to be for a finish coat. It could just be for the seams and for the base coat. Anyway, so this is the product called Mud Skip, and it's like $20 a bag for a 5-gallon, that you mix in with a 5-gallon. So I think I'm going to probably need at least 5 gallons, maybe 10. So I would buy one of these and add it, and it reduces the dust and reduces your sanding time, especially on 12-foot ceilings. It's going to be a doozy to sand and paint and all of that. So not interested. I might have somebody come and paint it even, just because I hate painting. It's not my thing. Anyway, so onward and upward, we are planning the next phases of things. And I'm pretty happy about that. Yes, staggered in on each layer so there are no straight paths through the layers. So the corners are a stair-step pattern between the two surfaces. Yeah, okay, that's fine. It just means I have to rent the lift longer. You know, I need it for like probably a week, not 1 day or 2 days. But it's one of those costs that you have to do. Again, if I had a guy, I'll quote it out and see what he says, but I'll tell him exactly what I want, instructions on what I want. But drywall lift rental. If we were just to go to the good old Home Depot and look for drywall lifts, here we go. This thing is good for up to 200 pounds, $250 for the week. Honestly, that's not terrible. And it's a 14-foot lift. So that would do it. That would get me there. But then you really need to be going at the drywall. Like if you rent it for a week, you need to basically be hauling. That week would be drywall week. And the mudding and all that stuff is last. You only do that on the final layer. So there would be a phase of you got to get the drywall delivered, and then you go and you rent it for a week, and then you basically work as much as you can. So I would need a full open week that I could do that and really go after it. Now I kind of have an arbitrary deadline as well, where I want to have the drywall done, which is in 40 days or something like that. So that's a month, a little more than a month. So should be ample time, but it's got to be done before the electrical can be finished. And the electrical can go in once the drywall's up, and then you can start mudding and sealing and all that. The electrical outlets and plugs and lights and all that stuff can start going in, but the drywall is kind of the next thing that's hanging over me. So I got to secure funding for this, which I might actually be ready to do that, but it's looking more and more like I'm going to have to hang this myself. So who knows? Maybe I'll commandeer a friend to make that happen. But this drywall lift, good for a week for $250, and it can hold 200 pounds and go up 14 feet. And it has a little crank thing, so that's kind of cool because I'm going to be climbing ladders to do this, right? I wonder how much those stilts are. Drywalls, are they called stilts? Yeah. Because if I could get... No, these are not going to be tall enough for me. Oh, you can just flat out buy them. That's fun. Whoa, 30 inches. Only $300. Yeah, probably not going to do that. But anyway, we will see. I'm going to end up breaking my back doing painting and all that, but maybe we'll just roll it. Again, it's so far away in the ceiling that people are not going to be inspecting it that closely. Okay, so NAB. That's where we're at right now, and I'm going to jump over to socials okay, we're good there. So I have been planning my NAB trip with my coworker because we are pretty excited to see what we can see. So this is the NAB website, the show floor. It's a little bit tricky to find this site, but if you go to nab26.mapurshow.com, it will have you log into your NAB account, and then you can go in and select on each of the show floors companies that you are interested in, and then you can say add to my show, so that when you then get to the show, you can have the NAB app, and you can be sure that you check off all of the booths that you want to see. So we're going to be there Sunday, Monday, and part of Tuesday. So we're going to have 2.5 days at the show in order to see what we want to see. Is that right? Hold, please. I think that's right. Let me just verify, though, that I think we're coming back on Tuesday, but I could be wrong. Let me go to my company email. That's where my plane tickets are. Spirit Airlines. Don't type in Spirit when you work for a church because you're going to get a whole lot of other stuff. Vegas. Okay. Here is our hotel reservations Saturday to Tuesday. So that's correct. And it's important that I be able to roll with my luggage and everything easily because I have basically a carry-on that I'm going to be taking. We have a direct flight from Nashville to Vegas, and we will be getting there on Saturday night and leaving again on Tuesday afternoon. So that's what we did last year. It was a pretty good amount of time. Tuesday morning, the show floor is pretty quiet, so there's not a ton of stuff going on. The big rush is Sunday and Monday. That's when you go to West Hall. That's when you go to Central Hall. I'm sorry, not West Hall. Central Hall and North Hall, which is where most of the stuff is. We went to North Hall first last year, and then we went to Central Hall on Monday after the main rush was done. And Central Hall is where Black Magic, Bird Dog, all those guys are. So we were pretty happy with that decision. We might do that again this year. Not too sure. We'll discuss it on the plane ride out there. Hey, just FYI, a rolling painter scaffold would probably be a good idea too. That would be a good idea, so that I could stand up there instead of moving a ladder around. That's a good idea. Actually, that is probably a vital idea. I'm going to have this stuff like delivered. Let me see. There's a rental company, an equipment rental company called Renton King. And equipment rentals, do they do scaffolding? Skid steers, scissor lifts? I guess I may just have to call them. Moving equipment. Dump trailers, pressure washers, wood chippers, trenchers, stump grinders, brush cutting. So this is like more heavy equipment than... But I might just call them and see what they have, because maybe under moving equipment? Moving dollies, no. All right, well, yeah, so I might have to just go over, rent it from Home Depot as well. Maybe a week rental on that. Scaffolding rental. How much would this be? Would they give me a deal if I had multiples? 15-foot high scaffolding set. Towers with casters measures 5 feet, 17 feet, or 7 feet and 15 feet. Or this one is up to 30 feet. No, I probably don't need that. Let's open both of these tabs and see. $250 for the 15-footer. $200 for the interior scaffold rental. And this one does... What does it say? This one includes 2 sets of 6. So probably... Oh, I got 12-foot ceilings, though. So here... Safely access work above reach height, rolls through a 30-inch doorway with ease. Ideal for second-story foyer, cathedral ceiling stairways, and multi-stories. I just see if there's a way to rent probably something smaller. Interior scaffolding. So this guy's $250. This guy is $200 for the week. So yeah, good call. Good call, NetHab. Okay, so if you head over to NAB, it's nab26.mapyourshow.com. It will have you log in, and it'll look something like this. So on our first day, we're planning on heading into probably the North Hall again. So this website, it's kind of nice because you can do this all on a computer and set up all the places you want to visit. And then once you do that, then it'll all transfer to your phone, and you'll have all of those things on your mobile device as you're walking around, which is pretty handy and pretty important to have at a show like this. You have to be fairly self-contained when you're walking around the show floor, mostly because going back to the hotel, forgetting something or walking around with a heavy device is really not advisable. I'll have my Patagonia bag with me this year, which is doubles as a computer bag, but I'm not sure I would take my laptop to the show because, first of all, I didn't need it at all last year. And second of all, I'm probably going to have a couple of batteries in terms of for charging devices. I'm going to have some recording equipment that will need a home. And I'm not going to take that camera, which I think I did last year, because there's no point. But I will take my phone, and I'll need a quick way to offload photos and pictures and that sort of thing. So photos, I use Amazon's photo storage, which is unlimited with a Prime account, so that's easy peasy. Photos, I can sync those up at lunch, and I can sync them up when I get back to the hotel in the evening. But the videos are the thing that always takes so much data, right? So next week, we're going to talk about gear. We're going to talk about recording audio. We're going to talk about video. We're going to test out the gimbal system that I have, which is an Insta360 Flow 2 Pro, which I bought last year for this trip and kind of didn't really know what I was doing. This year I have a little more experience because we've gone to the Smoky Mountains twice and done a few trips. Excuse me. Still can't shake this little cough that I have. So I have a little bit more experience using it. I'm not an expert, but a little more experience, so that should be helpful. And that will make shooting A-roll and B-roll a whole lot easier, because last year I was able to shoot some quick B-roll, but I realized, as all videographers do, that you really need to shoot more B-roll than you expect, that you think that you're going to need. So once you, if you want 5 different B-roll shots, you should shoot 10, and then you might not use one, but you'll probably use a whole bunch of them. And I experienced that when I was editing the videos last year, how little B-roll I had. So I got to do better about that, to be more disciplined and also take the time to actually do it. You can spend every minute that you have available on the show floor. And of course, the bell rings and it opens, and the bell rings and it closes, and then you're not supposed to be on the show floor anymore. So that is, we got to plan the trip a little bit, and that's what this show is about. So we're not going to talk about gear today. We're going to talk about where we're going, and I can share that with you here. So when we go to North Hall, which will probably be day 1, again, not totally determined, you can see here on the map all of the different places that you can, basically walk into. Now, Black Magic is actually in North Hall this year, so that's interesting. So is Avid, so is AJA. Does that mean Bird Dog's here, Resi's in this hall, X Keys, Sanken, PTZ Optics, they're all in here. So yeah, I wonder, here are the KVMs, G&D and Adder. Kilo View, Bird Dog, yeah. So if we start in the North Hall this year, I thought they were all in West Hall last year. Or not West Hall. I thought they were all in Central Hall last year. And they may have been. They may have moved them to a different place. Let's go ahead and look at Central Hall real quick. Okay. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. I clicked on what I thought was Central. Yeah, I think we went to, well, now I'm all mixed up here. So the monorail comes here, you walk down. Yeah, that's what we did. We went to North Hall last year first. So North Hall this year is now where all of these guys are. Blackmagic, Ross Video, VizRT. Because the next day we went to Central Hall, and in Central Hall, this is where I thought we saw Blackmagic They had like a big booth here. But this year, this is totally different setup. I could be wrong, but I have been wrong before. Well, anyways, let's take a look at North Hall because we'll start there. Hey, they've been shifting around over the past few years due to the convention center construction. Central Hall was closed last year. Oh, that's right. Where was I? One of the halls was closed, but we did go to. Well, anyway, whatever. So, this year, if we do, I think we don't want to do Black Magic and all the video stuff on the first day. So I assume we will probably spend the first day at Central Hall, which has how many exhibitors? Because it tells you here. So I think I have less. 26. Oh, okay. I got more in Central. So in Central Hall, we got a big long list here on the side. And if we just start, where are the entrances? The entrances are here. I actually don't know where you enter Central Hall. I think it's along this wall. So Grass Valley is going to make a big showing this year. I've seen a lot of advertisements for Grass Valley. I have them on my list just because I want to ask them, what is it that you actually do? Haven't been completely clear. They do big broadcasts from what I can tell, but nothing specific. They're not like pros at one specific thing. They try and cover a lot of things. Skarhoy is also here, which would be kind of fun to see what they're up to because I've lost touch with them since I've left my bird dog days. So, and hey, what's going on, Sean? Good to see you. So Skarhoy, I'd just be curious to know what they're up to. They always have something kind of cool to show, so I'd be interested to see more from them. So that's right here at the beginning of this hall. And then Dante is going to be right there, which is something we're using a lot, and I will be using a lot in my new studio build. So I would be very interested in perusing their booth just to see what they're showcasing this year. That'll be great. TBC Consoles is a furniture company, which we have been talking about moving our production suite to the next adjacent room at the soundstage. Now, we haven't actually got permission to do that, but we need more space. We're hiding in the back room, and we're pretty crammed in there. So as our team and as our technology continues to grow, we need more space, and so we're going to be inquiring about that. And since we're not leaving our soundstage area anytime soon, we thought we'd look at some furniture and see broadcast furniture, see what options there are. We're not looking to break the bank, but it would be great to have two stations where my technical crew, my media operations could sit, and one like my video switcher, my media operator who is doing like Pro Presenter, lower thirds, all that stuff. And it would be nice to have 3 seats there because hopefully we can do graphics one of these days. But then also then have a director's station. So have TVs up on the wall or something like that where the director can then stand behind and can help them operate the production. So turning it a little more into a production suite. Mono Prices will be there, which is just a retailer. We are, first time. That's cool. So who knows? They may just be trying to get some notoriety or some exposure at a show like this. So that'll be fun. What's going on, Angus? Good morning. And then Canon has a booth, but I don't think this is Canon's main booth. I think this may be their meeting space. I'm not sure. But Canon's there, so we will definitely take a peek at whatever. Oh, here they are. They have a giant booth that are down the stairs into the main hall. So then let's come back just to make sure we didn't miss anybody. Now Boland is here, so perhaps we walk past and take a peek at what Boland's up to, since I'm no longer in that world. I guess I could see what they're doing. RCS Intercom Systems. This I'm not too sure Oh, yes. Okay. RTS intercoms, because this is Dante intercoms is what this is. And so is there a way to add a note for me personally? There should be, right? Learn more. Come on. I'd love to make a little note here. This is Dante intercoms, which is Dante packs that talk directly Dante to system, transmitter, and receiver. I'd love to talk to them. I'm going to talk to them about, hey, what options do you have for hardlining, and are there any wireless options? I do believe they have a wireless Dante option. So it'll be kind of cool to see if they have any of that stuff in showcase. Canon is also in this row along with Telscript, and I want to actually show my coworker these NDI Telscript teleprompters, because this would be very handy to have at the back of our studio, but also when we get into doing some green screen stuff, I may want to add one of these to our fleet. Of course, Atomos is also here. I'm not too sure where Atomos is at these days, because when I was back at Bird Dog, they were having some financial issues. Allegedly, they still have money to come to NAB, so they must be okay. But yes, that's be great to see what Atomos is up to and how they are surviving. Hollyland is here. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure I have any use to go to Hollyland other than they're a notable brand. It'd be interesting to see if they are announcing anything at NAB, but I'm not really too sure what they have to offer other than their headset line, which I'm not interested in. Insta360, of course, will be there. No idea if they're going to launch anything at NAB. They don't normally. They just talk about their current line. I already have the Flow Pro. They don't have a 1-inch sensor. I'm holding out for that. I might go with an X5 one of these days. If my wife and I ever get to go on another cruise, I'll definitely get an X5, or I'll get whatever the current one is. But the X5 has great low light performance, which is actually kind of important on a cruise, because you do spend equal amounts of time in daylight and at nighttime. The sun does set on a cruise ship as well. So I'm going to go by Insta360 just for my own interests, see what is offered there. Boland is here as well in the boot in here. Oh, there's their camera line. So let's go ahead and just add that to the planner. This is not the same Boland. Where are they here? Boland. I need to get rid of. Where was it? Monoprice. There. Oh, no, that's the one I just marked. Canon, Telscript, Atmos, Broadfield, Hollyland, Insta360. Yeah, Broadfield will be showcasing a bunch of their stuff. Probably their new Elgato line that they're carrying. I need to go by and shake their hands. Oh, here it is, Boland Communications. It is unchecked. Yeah, I need to go by Broadfield and just say hi, see if my sales guy's there, Matt. That's one of my distributors, by the way, with Keystone. So if you're looking to buy stuff, I might be able to help you with price, so let me know. Do you mean Boland, the PTZ OEM? Yes. Who are over here that I just found them? Right here, Boland Technologies, these guys. So that product line looks familiar, but they're missing a logo. All right, so then down here on the bottom, we've got OBS Bot. They're doing some camera stuff, which is interesting. Oh, and they have this booth as well. So, yeah, this is a camera company that's kind of like, I don't know if it's up and coming or if it's just cheap stuff, so we're going to actually go and find out. Sennheiser's here. We should definitely add them to our planner. GoPro is here. First time at NAB. I guess I'll mark them down for a walk past. I'm not really interested. Same with DJI. There's not too much at DJI I'm interested in these days, but I'll put them on my list. Shure is here in this hall, so we need to mark them down as going because we have Shure gear and Sennheiser gear, so go on in there. Okay. I'm just checking these names. Okay. Reading Auto. Nah. Cable company. Clearcom, we actually went there last year. I'm not actually interested in going back to see them just because we have a solution and it doesn't involve them. Got that tickle. Can't shake it. I feel great otherwise, but can't shake this this dry throat issue I get when I talk for long periods of time. Okay, Audio-Technica will be there. I don't know what they'll be showcasing, but I am an Audio-Technica fan. These are the M50s, just the straight M50s. With M50S is what this brand was, because stood for straight. It looks like the fake leather on these headphones is peeling fairly significantly now, so I may have to just pull that off. I really like these cups, and they're not that old, but this fake leather is crap, so we need to peel that off. And I'm a kind of like a closet headphone guy. I really like buying headphones, but when I travel, I try and go light anymore, and so these are the Me Audio Pebbles. They are unlike AirPods, where they're just I guess you can't even see that. They are just like these little round pebbles that sit in your ears. Pretty great. I mean, they work really well, and they don't have any sound isolation. For that, I have a pair of Me Audio X something. And they have the little handles on them, but they have active noise cancellation. So I do like those, and I use those on airplanes. Hey, John, I can't join the stream today. Just let's connect about NAB soon. Absolutely. We got a couple of weeks, so let's figure out where you might be, when you might be there. And it's so crazy because at NAB, people can be there and you'll never see them because the event is so big. Right? Like there's so many halls, and there's so much to see. So if you pass somebody, like I did with Sean last year, it was so great to just like run into him, but it was by chance. Like it was pretty rare. I also ran into, who did I run into? Filippo, who used to work for Bird Dog with me. He was sales in South America, and he was walking past with a group of people that he works with now, and I stopped him. And I was like, Filippo. And he like looked up and he was like, oh, Mr. John. And I was like, so good to see you. So we had a good little catch up. And then he had to run and catch his group. But it was great. Hey, it seems like Me has discontinued the Pebbles. So that's a shame. They're actually quite good. Me Pebbles. They have changed them. Now they're, ew, what are those? Yuck, I don't like those at all. Pebbles Open Air. They look terrible. What the heck is this? Hang on, guys. Look at this. What is that thing? Open Air. No, Air Open Ear True Wireless Earbuds. Bluetooth 5.3 ear clips. Interesting. You know, though, my wife might actually like these, because they don't sit in your ear. They clip on your ear. That's interesting. She hates the ones that go in your ears, and I don't mind them at all, but she's also a very like petite person, so but man, that's a weird looking. That is very weird looking.
In this video, we'll learn how to set up and use the Me Audio Pebbles Air. To begin, remove the protective film and place the earpieces back in the case. To charge, plug the case into a powered USB port. A full charge takes about 2 hours. A red light will be on while the unit is charging, and change to a white light when it is fully charged. Next, let's pair your Pebbles Air to your device. Open the charging case to automatically enter pairing mode. Then, use the Bluetooth menu of your device to select the Me Audio Pebbles Air and complete the pairing process.
That says pairing under my face.
Once your Pebbles are connected, identify the left and right earpieces. Place each earpiece in the corresponding ear, making sure the speaker is in front and the touch panel is behind the ear. With audio playing, adjust the speakers up and down to find the position that delivers the best audio performance. Next, we'll go over the features and controls. The touch control panels are located on the back of each earpiece. You will hear an audio prompt when you interact with the touch panel, so don't be afraid to experiment with the controls until you can operate them quickly and easily. Tap the touch panel on the right earpiece to increase the volume. Tap the touch panel on the left earpiece to decrease the volume. Tap the touch panel twice on either earpiece to play or pause your audio. This will also answer and hang up phone calls. To skip to the next track, hold the touch panel on the right earpiece for 2 seconds. To go to the previous track, hold the touch panel on the left earpiece.
Well, that's not
for 2 seconds.
Whoops, sorry. It's not completely weird, I guess. That is an interest. They're always coming out with new design, man. Like it's so funny that there's just constantly new designs all the time for these earbuds. I have a pair of these Mi Audios that are their active noise cancellation thing. Let's me look for them. Oh, they don't even have those anymore. Headphones, wireless and true wireless. So those new little clippy clips are like, that's their flagship right now. So yeah, they've discontinued mine. Wow. All right, well, sorry, I can't recommend anything because all of mine are old school. But when I travel on planes, that is really what I tend to do is, put in lightweight earbuds as long as they charge, which I think those other ones are downstairs. I'll bring them up next week for the show about the gear. So let's continue on. So and I wanted to, where is the chat? Because I need to pay attention if you guys are talking. Where are you here? There it is. Okay. So loud. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't realize it was cranked up that loud. Does the mapper have a rendezvous option for friends so you can coordinate arrivals at certain booths at high noon for like dueling? I don't think so. It would be a great idea to like put in your coworkers and put in your friends that you're gonna see at the show. That's one of the main things is seeing people at the show. So it is more futuristic than sci-fi shows. So there is that. I've been using bone conduction headphones for quite a while now. I had a set of Mi Pebbles, but my wife likes them much more than I do. Whoops, sorry. Generic behind the head style, a little flip out microphone boom, fantastic audio call quality, zero isolation. It's perfect for what I need. Dueling XLRs at high noon. It's true. Yeah, it's true. This is the one that I use. So when I have like long phone calls, this is a pretty standard USB-C, Bluetooth connection to your phone headset. It's the dorkiest look ever. It's like I'm in a call center, but I'm not using it for looks. I'm using it for comfort because wearing those earbuds for 2-hour-long phone calls isn't the best. So that's just a good speaker, good microphone. People claim that it's nice and clear to hear me. So, hey, good morning from New Orleans. What's going on, L.A. Cajun man? How are you? Thanks for coming by the show. I don't recognize your handle. Hey, good morning. We're not making the NAB trip this year. The flights were crazy prices out of MSY. I'm assuming that's New Orleans. That's a bummer. Because this year, the talk, actually, I was watching a video this morning from Netgear. And here's Laurent and John Hinkle. I know you can't see this. Here is, they are talking about their pre-show announcements happening at NAB this year. And so there was a webinar where they're basically giving a update as to what it is that they're expecting to do. And the webinar is quite good. It talks about Engage, which is now coming up to 2.5 at NAB. They're going to be launching it right around then. 2.4 is the current version. And 2.4, the interesting thing about 2.4 is it allows you to do virtual devices and offline setup, meaning that you can, it looks like I'm interviewing them, meaning that you can do all the work pre-show if you know what switches you have. Do all the work pre-show, set it all up, and then when you roll up, you push the configuration to your switches, and you're up and running. I have yet to use that function, but I think I might be using it soon because they'll be sending me switches in the future for these network setups, and I'll be able to use them, use that pre-setup before they show up, and then the deployment should be a whole lot easier. So pretty cool stuff. Hey, it's Albert from Loyola, New Orleans. Well, how are you, Albert? Good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping on by. Yeah, headphones aren't a fashion thing whatsoever for me, but I like what I like. Same. I definitely choose headphones for functionality first. I've never owned a pair of over-the-ears noise cancellation headphones. So one day I'll muster the money to do that. Maybe after this project is done in the garage, then I'll have money to do that. But until then, all funding must proceed towards the drywall. Yeah, fun stuff. So yeah, we've had some announcements starting to trickle through, and it's fun to hear guys like Laurent say, hey, NAB's only 10 days away, which I didn't realize. I wonder, actually, if my watch... What's going on here? Okay, here we go. Does that app work on my watch? Yes, it does. Hey-o. All right, so my insulation install deadline for the barn, just if anyone's interested, is in 6 days, April 15th. Las Vegas is in 9 days. We'll be flying out on Saturday, so that's in 9 days. And then I got to get my plumbing dry fit done in the barn, and then drywall deadline is 37 days away, May 16th. So I got to make some decisions and giddy up because time is of the essence. All right, back to the show. So the NAB show. So here we go. So we're going to visit Shure. If you see something on the screen here and you say, hey, you should stop by them, they do this, this, and this, and this, that's kind of what I'm going for here. I'm looking for your input on what it is that I should go and see. Excuse me. I don't know if that worked or not. It does. Yeah. Hey, it does work. My cough button works. Yay. Hey, do you have a public email address for your company that I can DM you on? Absolutely, I do. That can be found right here. hello@KeystoneAVNetworks.com. That is my public email. Anybody and everybody can reach out, find out what it is that we do. Certainly contact me there, Stephen. That's easy peasy. And that's just hello@KeystoneAVNetworks.com. I actually stole Eamon Drew's naming convention for his email. So I have hello@KeystoneAVNetworks. I have sales at, I have legal at, and I have John at. But the hello one works pretty well. Hey, don't forget, by the way, if you want to give me a hand, feel free to subscribe to the channel. That would be very helpful. This channel's slowly creeping forward and growing, which is kind of nice. Not as fast as the Bird Dog John channel, which has been offline for 2 years. But hey, that's who I'm competing against, myself. All right, so for general listening, I have both wired and Bluetooth COS Portal Pros. Ooh. For work, I have Sony 7506s. They're not a true neutral sound, but I'm familiar enough with them to get good results. That's important. Hey, awesome. Thanks. Will do. Talk to you soon. Sounds great. Looking forward to it. Yeah, so the M50s are notorious for being, the Audio-Technica M50s have had the same driver in them for ages, and they are notorious for having a fairly flat EQ, meaning that what you hear is not edited by the headphones, which is what I want. I want to have a very flat sound because I want to hear the actual thing. I don't want Beats by Dre and all that crap who significantly change the lower end and the mid frequencies to have like a punchier bass sound. No, I want a flat. So if I'm EQing or if I'm editing video or whatever, I can definitely have an even sound. And it sounds like you're in that same boat, Angus. All right, so to the floor. We're headed over to Magewell. We have a Magewell product in our line. It's actually a NDI encoder, HX encoder. And I use that for a camera that I actually send the camera feed to Pro Presenter to do a live stage background countdown. So that's what we use Magewell for. So I'm going to pop by there and see what they've got going on. Audio Technica is here. Small rig. Of course, I went to reach for the cough button. It wasn't on the screen. Small Rig sells, if you don't know who they are, they sell just camera rig gear. And it'd be really good. They have a big booth, so it'd be really good to go and see what it is that they're showcasing this year. Lilliput is a video monitoring company. They have good products. I want to see what they're planning on showcasing this year, so be good to walk by them. MarkerTech is a distributor, and so I need to go by there and have a conversation with them about what it is that they have to offer. I might do a little conversation with them about being a distributor for me. GVM is, I thought these guys were, they're an LED company. That's what they are, which I'm not particularly interested or needing to see, but we can, if we're there, we might stop. Who knows? I'm just not going to put them on my list. Adorama, they're always fun to see what they've got going on, so we might pop by Adorama. GL Optics, yeah, these guys. Again, if one of the shows that we'll do are booths that we stop by that we weren't planning on stopping at. So YOLO Live is going to be there. Ceramonics there, but I'm not planning on stopping. Marshall will be there. I really need to stop by Marshall. I want to see a couple of their cameras, the C370 in particular, because I'm pretty sure those are the ones that I'm going to end up buying. Shenzhen Newer Technology. Is this Newer? Yeah, newer.com. So Newer make a lot of camera rig gears, tripods, and a few other things, so it would be good to probably check in with them and see what they've got going on. Oh, concessions. Oh, you can't save the concessions area. I'm going to take my own food because it's ridiculous. It's like so ridiculous, the prices. So save a little bit of money and you'll have food on hand when you're hungry. Sennheiser. Of course I want to... Oh, wait. That was saved, it said. Saved. Why didn't it have a marker on there? Aperture, nah. Sure. Has been saved. I might need to refresh this. There we go. GoPro, we've already talked about these ones. Lilliput, talked about that. Okay, B&H, the studio will be there. This would be a great place to see some gear, just camera gear, cameras and lenses and things like that. So that'll be worth stopping by. Also, B&H has a really long booth right here for lenses and all that stuff. And then Rode microphones are right down the end. First time. Really? Yeah, we definitely want to stop by Rode. So we're gonna check them out and see what they got going on. Right across the road from Sony, who are going to have all sorts of people in there with him. But Sony's got a ginormous booth. And who is this? Oh, Netgear, of course. Netgear. So this will be a stop that I will spend a significant amount of time at. Hey, you want to go to TechNet for a distributor side of MarkerTech, both divisions of Tower products. TechNet. Are they at the show or is that at the MarkerTech booth? Why can't I search? That's weird. Is that, my show, that's why. Exhibitors. I'm assuming it's Technic. Nope. But they'll be at the MarkerTech booth then, I'm assuming. So I will make a note of that. MarkerTech right there. Yes, they are a supplier. I'll open their website so I remember to go check that out later. So that will be like one day. That'll be a lot. If we see all of that in one day, that'll be a lot. But there are 2 other halls. Now, first I'm going to jump over to West Hall because there's actually only 3 vendors in West Hall that we want to see. One is Peplink, one is Telstream, and one is Ubiquiti. So I don't think we are interested in anything else other than I'm going to take one more look around because they were kind of everybody should be online here by now, whoever's seriously planning on going. Which reminds me, we're going to punch in Turtle AV and see if they show up, but I'm not holding my breath because I'll go blue. So Ubiquiti is here. Excuse me. Ubiquiti. I just want to actually go to Ubiquiti and have a conversation with them about their AV line stuff because it's happened recently and I've walked away from Ubiquiti, not on purpose, just given my bandwidth. I just decided I'm a Netgear guy and I really like the Netgear stuff. So Peplink has a better booth this year. Looks like it's more centralized in the hall, which is great because last year they were like in a very strange spot in the pavilion. And so it was strange, but they did a great job. They had a good showing. I'm not upset about it at all. As a matter of fact, I now own a Peplink device because of this, and the company that I do installations for actually uses Peplink routers pretty exclusively. So that's kind of a cool thing that's going on in the greater networking world. They make great routers. Telstream is here, who, of course, are the creators of... what's it called? Oh, it's right there on the tip of my tongue. Help me out, people. Video switcher. Cloud computing meta. It's probably here. Telstream. Products. Where is it? Professional? Wirecast. There it is. All right. Whoa. Yikes. Okay, so they are the creators of Wirecast, which is the direct competitor pretty much for vMix. So we will pop by, mostly because I don't really have anywhere else to go in this. So we will go and see Telstream, we'll go and see Peplink, and we'll go and see Ubiquiti. Now, the other player was VizRT that was in this hall last year. So are they here? We'll just put in Viz. VizRT is in the North Hall. And they are check on my list to see. So they have been moved, which is interesting because, and where is the NDI booth? Is it with Viz? It's with Viz. Okay. So there's no other booth. If we just say my show overview, West Hall, there's still 3 vendors here. Everybody chimes in. Thank you. Wirecast. So yeah, this hall. There's a food court in this hall. We should check that out one of those days. All right, so Telstream. I'm going to just zoom in here a little bit and just see if I'm missing anything else. I don't think I am. This hall, we went to it on Tuesday before we turned around and went back to, I think it was Central Hall last year. And then we went back to Black Magic. This place was quiet, very quiet. And I was pulling my suitcase around. I don't have a very big suitcase, but I was rolling my suitcase around the entire time, which was... It got some miles. We got some steps in. That's for sure. All right, there's nothing that's standing out still, which, you know, you kind of wonder. How this haul really performs, because it doesn't feel like it does amazingly well. And it's surprising that with Ubiquity now, is this their first show? No, they've been here before. With Ubiquity doing the AV stuff, Ubiquity's first time. Oh, interesting. With them doing AV stuff, this doesn't seem like the right haul for them. But here they are. They may have got roped into the big network side of things. And we went here on Tuesday, so it may not have been very fair that it wasn't busy, but it was definitely Deadsville. Harmonic, what did they do? Okay, I don't recognize this. Video and broadband services made to... Okay, well, yeah, I don't recognize that. I might be getting them mixed up with Ceramonic, which is very similar. All this. I mean, we'll walk around, but I think we will be walking. Was Resi in this hall? We talked to somebody last year. I think Resi was in this hall. Nah. No, Resi was not in this hall. Who did we talk to? Because somebody in this hall we had talked to, and we asked a gal about some stuff, and she was clearly a floor person, but not like, you know, you can tell when you're talking to a salesman or when you're talking to like an engineer, you know, that like difference in conversation. It's just like, it's a big difference. So you get these guys that are tasked with be sure everybody that comes to the booth is greeted, and then they're like, hey, how you guys liking the show? How's it going? And you're like, it's fine. Can you tell me more about the details of this? And they're like, oh, let me get somebody. It's like, okay. So no, the answer is no. My question is, will that Brazilian pavilion have meat samples? Ooh, that is a good question. Startup pavilion, where? Where did you see that? They probably won't have samples. It will probably be purchase only, and you get what you get, and you're happy with it. All right, so West Hall, let's just call that done. Not much to see there. Maybe we should hit that up on Monday morning, and then walk back to Central. So walk back to North. So, you know, do this. This is kind of what I'm thinking. Day 1, Central Hall. Day 2, start at the West Hall, and then come back to North Hall. And then day 3, Tuesday, see whatever we want to see else. That might be a good use of our time. Yeah. Okay, so over to North Hall. This is now the hall that we have not looked at yet. So last year we entered in, I believe, over here. It was like one of these I think it was this entrance 3. I actually have a photo of that. Photos, NAB shows. Wait, what was that? Oh, that's funny. I took a picture of this. Okay. Back, albums. I have an album that's actually NAB shows. There they are. And the first day, took a picture right here. Dang it. It doesn't show me what hall it is. or what entrance it is. I thought I got that. Yeah, okay. Well, that's a shame. All right. Well, back to the overview here. So if we just start walking through, we should see everybody. You know, by now all of these spots have been claimed. Whoa. G&D is here. Oh, wait a minute. Did I already do this in Adder? Okay. G&D is here. Adder Technology. I want to talk to both of those companies about KVMs because we're going to move to those IP-based KVMs. And we're going to centralize, like I said, when we're trying to move to the production side to move our production suite into a bigger room in our current soundstage. And if we can do that, then I want to KVM all of our computers and centralize them all in rack spaces, and then just have lightweight receivers sitting at the desk so that you can actually log into any computer that you want from a KVM, not just the one that you're physically sitting at. So I think we're going to go with Adder, but I'm going to give G&D a shake at it just to see if they have prosumer, consumer level grade IP-based KVMs. That's what I'm interested in there. Get a little closer here, see what is happening at these booths. I don't actually recognize any of these companies, so we'll scooch over the aisle. Legrand is here, which I'm just interested to see what they've got there. I buy their faceplates for their Keystone faceplates. But, you know, it'd be something to check off the box that you saw them, and if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. KiloView and Bird Dog are still next to each other, which I thought this might move, but they will be there in this hall just around the corner from vMix and IDA cameras. So this is a interesting AI photo. And then across the aisle from them is a small booth for Resi, which I think we have to have a come to Jesus conversation with Resi, because Resi has continually tried to upsell us, and we've noticed that since the new year, we got a new sales guy, and since the new year, it's constantly, hey, I don't want to buy anything else. I want to see what this can do. And they're always like, oh yeah, if you upgrade. So we need to have a come to Jesus about, hey, we're not really happy with that. We don't like that. Please stop doing that. If that is now your motto, is upsell, 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 no problem. But we are going to discuss with certain friends and partners about figuring out a different way. So more on that in the future. All right, so Resi is there. LiveView, quite honestly, I have no reason to go to LiveView other than it fascinates me, but I will walk by their booth. I won't put it on my to-do list. Arista Networks, quite frankly, there's not really much of a reason for me to go to Arista other than I'm just curious, which is why you go to NAB. And so Arista makes networking backbones, and I'd just be curious to know what it is that they're up to and what sort of offerings. This is one of those vendors that I might just walk in and say, tell me the thing that you do, and like other than networks. But like, are you getting into the AV realm because you're in the AV hall? Are you just, why are you here? And just to see what they say. Give me the 5-minute pitch, or the, let's say, 2-minute pitch. Western Digital is in this area. AJA Video. AJA, I want to go by there just to look at their frame cards, because they always have a ton of them. And I'd be very interested to see what they have done with the past year, since last year. And Avid, of course, is there. So we'll pop by Avid just to see what they're up to. Ross Video recently was a part of an installation that does a lot with Ross. But man, they're having a lot of problems. And they're sorting it out, but it's just not clean. And I'm curious to walk around their ginormous booth and be impressed. I want to be impressed with their stuff. PTZ Optics is here as well, which is not too far from Bird Dog, But PSD Optics has, looks like a slightly bigger booth. Maybe the same size footprint than Bird Dog, so we'll see what they're offering. Logic Keyboard, this was a guy that I saw last year, and he offered me a significant discount. These are tailor-made keyboards for specific applications. And I was doing a lot of work in DaVinci Resolve and could have used a keyboard for that, but it didn't become a high priority for me. And so DaVinci Resolve, here are those keyboards here. They're really not that crazy. Like, for what they are, they're like full of shortcuts and everything. Really not that crazy, but I like it. I like the idea. I just don't. I want to go and see them again because I thought they were cool. Sanken microphones. So this guy, we had a friend who. You should aggressively query vendors. Why are you here? Yeah. Arista does do AV networks. Engineers were Cisco and went off to do something else. And of course, demand meat samples. I definitely should. Okay, we're almost through this haul. So, Sanken Microphones there was a guy last year that we met named Jim Pace, and he was, or is, I guess, he's one of their guys. Plus24.net, that can't be right. Is that their Sanken Microphones? Okay. Anyways, Jim, we talked to him. Really smart guy, good salesman, good sales pitch. But these microphones were impressive. And one of the things that we were testing shotgun microphones, and one of the things that we really want to do is we have a location where we have a microphone on a mic stand, and people stand in this. We call it Zone 1 because it's on the left side. There are 3 zones, and it's Zone 1 and Zone 3. So in Zone 1, there's a microphone, and that's where our camera operators can swing over real quick and get on Zone 1. The problem is that is not the same person every time, and so they're constantly adjusting microphones, whatever. I just want people to go up there and talk. I also think that people tend to hide behind microphones, and I would like it to be a shotgun mic that's suspended from the ceiling or something like that, that can be just off camera, but can capture good audio. Well, we did some testing, and I want to go back and test again because there were some live mics, shotgun mics that were very impressive. Here's Jim here. Very impressive, and we were able to listen to them live. He had headphones, and then he would walk around the microphone and demonstrate in a really noisy convention hall. So I'm going to go back and see if Jim's there, hopefully, but I'm going to go back to Sanken Microphones and check them out again, and then maybe add them to a purchase list. We don't know yet, so we'll see. Over here we have X Keys, which of course we need to chat with them and see what they've been up to for the past year. X Keys changed ownership and major leadership over the past couple of years, like 3 or 4 years ago now, I guess. And so I'm curious to know, like this sort of thing, this X Keys device has worked really well. I've had it since like 2015, I think, and it's been just fine. I don't know, though. I know that they came out with like an LED model for X Keys that were different LED lights. I think they're trying to compete a little bit with Stream Deck. But I wish that they would view themselves as a different product line altogether and not try and compete with Stream Deck, because Stream Deck has LED programmable screens. Like you can change everything on the fly. Whereas X Keys, you're kind of limited. There's at least this model, the 24-button model, doesn't have like the ability to change the labels. You got to print them yourselves, which is fine. But if we were to just kind of Google X Keys and the product line that they had, this is the one that I bought there, 2016. It works just fine. I mean, it's very reliable. It's very customizable. They have a lot of options when it comes to X Keys. Let's go ahead and actually look at their company page. So they got like a lot of options of things that you can buy. There are various LED models of this. So I don't see them here, though. Where are they? Maybe we got to go to the X-Keys website. But anyways, there are, various X-Keys. It's a Pi Engineering is what their website is, which is very confusing. Pi Engineering. They're going to be at NAB. They've got an announcement up on their screen. X-Keys. They will build you whatever you want, by the way. You're not limited to these things. They will build you any configuration that you're interested in. I have the tilt stand, the $20 piece of metal that you have to buy. But it is nice. It has rubber feet on it. It works just fine. I don't know if I would... This series is the LED series, right? Yeah. And they came out with this rack mount unit before Stream Deck did. So I don't know who copied who. But this is kind of a cool idea where you can rack mount, an X-Keys device and then program it. It is still a standard USB, which is wild, but all good. Yeah, so there's some interesting things to kind of look at, and I'm just curious to know what is X-Keys up to. Like I said, they will do a custom for you. You can send away just a diagram and say, this is what I want to look like, or this is what I want to say. Here are the buttons I want. They'll print you the labels. They'll do it all for you. It is a turnkey solution. I really like these color keys. That's cool. Of course, you can't change the color keys once you order them. But, this little device is great for repeatable processes. So one of the things that I primarily use it for is video editing. And when I'm in DaVinci, I need to constantly cut things. And I have a blade button. So I click the blade button and it cuts right there. And that's really nice. It's nice to have that. Excuse me. Ooh, there's a backlit mask. I didn't know that. What do they want for that? No pricing. I've heard some good things about Sanken mics. You probably heard it here, actually. That's because I talk about them. For light-up buttons that are not a screen, I find X-Keys to be expensive. Boom. There you go. The XKE40 rack mount is sure a more reasonable price than the Stream Deck alternative. Yeah, the Stream Deck alternative is $900, which is redunky lips as far as I'm concerned. Hotkey is B for blade, A for regular. Yeah, I know. But when you click B for blade, it changes your cursor. And so then you have to click A. This button is programmed just to cut, just to blade exactly where you had it. So you put the playhead there, you hit that button and it cuts it, and you just keep going. If you click B on your keyboard, it changes your cursor to a blade cursor. And then you got to change it back to A. So quick little button that's programmed, boom, and it's done. It's pretty great. I have timeline jump buttons as well. So instead of navigating with your mouse, you can just go to the cut timeline, go to the timeline view, the fusion view, the color view, audio view, all of that. The export view, they're all just single buttons so that it just is quick. You just jump around as quick as you want. Actually, this X-Keys hasn't worked recently because I had it plugged into the wrong place. So I will test it today because I do need to do some work inside of DaVinci. My Resolve workflow also heavily involves switching between regular and blade. Yeah. So, that's slick. Yeah. So just having a blade button that just cuts so you never have to leave the pointer, right? You have a blade button. I find it helpful, and there's probably some sort of workaround for that where I don't need an X-Keys to do that, but it is certainly nice to have it. All right, back to NAB. I think we're almost around the horn, as they say. So, Sanken microphones, Logic keyboards, X-Keys, and the only other exhibitor name that I'm going to look for. It's Turtle. So, unfortunately, I begged Eamon to join us, but it does not look like he is going to make it unless he takes one like a last minute, all right, we'll go to NAB. Sometimes he operates that way, so I could be surprised to find him on the show floor. But he does Infocom, and, fair enough. You got to pick and choose your expenses. Hey, I like that. I used to edit in Vegas, and a Sony had single key razor. I do miss that. Yeah, I mean, you can program a button. If you have a Logic MX3 business keyboard, you could probably program one of your F buttons to do that, function buttons to do that. But it is nice. It is nice just to boop, cut, and it's simply done. So I like it. I got to get back into the flow of using it, but now that it's up and running, I believe it should be usable. So that'll be my tour at NAB. I'm pretty excited. I mean, I think that we will have plenty to see in 2.5 days. We will definitely be going to In-N-Out Burgers because that is our go-to place that seems to be reasonable burgers in Vegas, and that's where I can get a keto-friendly burger. So we'll be going there, and we will. I don't know how many people I'll be able to meet up with. Sounds like Steven and I will need to pass some emails back and forth and find out where he's going to be. I need to probably have a discussion with my coworker and find out what he really wants to see. I don't know if he has spent any time looking at the show floor planner, but I'll certainly share it with him when we are underway. And we're not that far. I mean, we leave a week Saturday, so that's just literally a couple of days. I got a lot of work to do before then, so I better get to it, right? Okay. I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to share. I think that's all the updates. Next week, we're going to do a actual gear show where I'm going to outfit my hat with a microphone. I'm going to get my headphones and my recording system and my backpack and all that stuff set up so that I know what my system is when I go to the show floor so that I'm not constantly fumbling about. Last year, I felt like I was fumbling about. And I need to do better about, like, I just felt like powering things on and making sure it was running. And, like, I need a system, that's, and we'll talk about this next week, but I'll start thinking about it now. But I need a system where the recording pack, which I use, is right here. This is the Zoom F1 field recorder. I just, plug it in. I have a headphone that runs up into my ear. I think I had a behind the ear headphone. I'll find all that stuff, and if I don't find it in the next couple of days, I'll order a new one. They're not expensive. Basically, I'm monitoring, a way to monitor. But yeah, I'm interested in making sure that my system is, I can quickly set it up. I'm curious if I could just leave this thing plugged in and on all day via a battery bank. Maybe, and then just charge the battery bank in the evening. So just turn it on, leave it on all day, have a pair of batteries as backup in case it runs dead. But if I plug it in, it's only 5 volts, so it's not like it's drawing very much power. So I could just leave it on, which means that then my microphone would be on all day, which means that then my monitor would be on all day, and I could wear my headphone all day. So maybe that's the plan. So we'll see. I'll bring all that stuff up for next week, and we'll have it ready to go. But microphones, monitoring, and then video. Those are the 3 things we're going to cover next week so that I'm ready to record at NAB and I can produce some stuff for you guys to see, those of you who can't make it this year. All right. That's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. Always a pleasure to have you guys in the chat. We will see you next week for the gear show for NAB, and then we will get ready to do a little bit of traveling. So take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.